here's exactly how we made this eyewear business $781,000 in less than 30 days at a 3.72 ROAS. If you're new to the channel, you don't yet know who I am. My name is Justin, and I'm the founder at paidadvertising.com, an online marketing growth firm specializing in elevating thriving brands by simplifying e-commerce growth. We're Meta, Google, and TikTok partners and have spent over $10 million on ads in the last 12 months. And I want to break down one of our latest case studies with you in this video. So let's get straight into it. Now, the before, right? So the before this success story. Now, looking into that, we reached out to this business via a cold email. So the founder then CC'd his right hand essentially on his cold email reply, thought the email was interesting and deserved a call. So his right hand booked in a call with me personally. Now, on that call, we uncovered more about the business, asked their typical questions, and then deemed it that they were qualified, so that we moved on to step 2, which was to do an audit. So our senior media buyer at paidadvertising.com and myself both sat down, looked through the account, came up with a 4-page audit with our recommendations for this account, and presented it back to the owner on another call. Now, something that I forgot to mention here, but I do want to add orally in this video, is the extra mile that we went before welcoming this client, which I think is what got us essentially this new partner at the agency. So essentially, somehow they shared accesses with us, only viewing accesses, and then we did our audit. Then we were out of the ad account, and then 2-3 days later, they got hacked. For the first time ever, somebody took control of their ad account. Keep in mind, these guys are spending like $200K a month now at this point on Facebook ads alone. Somebody hacked their account. They literally duplicated the campaign, kept the same name, same ad set and like naming convention, and all they did was change the ad creative in itself and the destination to another link. Somebody that they did not know who they were, and the owner was kind of freaking out. And then I offered, essentially, I hopped on like 2 or 3 calls with them, probably spent 2.5 hours just helping them get rid of this hacker. And finally, once this was done, we got started together. So quite a rock and roll start to this relationship. Now, we did a very thorough audit. The client's KPI that they told us initially is that we want to increase 20% month over month revenue on Facebook itself. Like, this is the channel we're going to hand off to you guys. You need to hit 20% month over month increase in revenue while maintaining profitability, right? Don't just scale up spend and try and get a 20% more revenue. Maintain our current ROAS that we're getting on the account. We're like, all right, cool, let's get into it. So through the audit, we saw a bunch of structural changes that executed without any new ad creative should push us over the objective. So for context, to give you that right here, the founder's right hand was responsible for the entire e-commerce division, as in media buying for $170K a month in ad spend on Facebook to basically the same amount of ad spend on Google. They wanted to start TikTok. The guy was also overseeing the entire website, the backend logistics, the photo shoots. He had internally a designer / editor, and as well as one kind of junior helping him with some executionary decisions when it comes to ads, but he was like literally overseeing all of it. He was just too much now at this point for one person to oversee all of that. So simply by a lack of experience, but also by a lack of time, they were stable ad spend wise on Meta. So for the better part of the last year and a half, they had not increased ad spend at all on Meta for, again, about a year. So they were looking for collaborative work as part advisement, part executionary with an agency like ours, given their team and business size. So it's not like your traditional smaller brand and just kind of wanted to come in and let us handle the entire ad account. These guys had a very decent size of a team in-house. They wanted that we both worked kind of hand in hand to make this account work. I'm giving you all of that for context because, one, if you're used to the channel and us kind of doing regular broad targeting, you're not going to see really that in this video. Why? Well, number one, it's with such a complex account, and Facebook is such a key part of their business. It's the biggest revenue driving factor of their business. So just changing the entire ad account overnight wasn't an option. But we reverted back to traditional media buying for the first couple of weeks while still weaving in our creative concepts and weaving in broad targeting, which I'll still share in the next couple of minutes. So here's the before. So the 30 days before us coming on board in the account, I'll show you the live ad account in the next few minutes, by the way, just so you know and you can see. I think in these videos, what helps to have the believability, if you want, is to see the live ad account and see it for yourself. So I will share that with you in a second. Right here, essentially, the period to us hopping on board actually was Black Friday, Cyber Monday, believe it or not, and we still beat that, which I'll share with you in a second. In that time period, they got 3.42 ROAS. They spent 100 and let me just make that a little bit bigger on my side. They spent about $185,000 on ads and brought back $630,000 in sales. So that is from November 18th to December 19th, 2023. Now, The after looks like this. We spent $210,000. ROAS jumped up to 3.72, and they made, which let me make it a little bit bigger for you again to see, $781,000 right here. So about $150,000 more in sales than they had the previous period. Now, also showing you as a comparison right here, right? So comparing the period that we came in, so our first month together versus the month prior, they had 23.18% more conversion rate, which beats the target. Number two, they had 8% increase in ROAS and 13% increase in ad spend. So all in all, you can call that a successful scale on this ad account. So other thing I want to share with you is their backend metrics, right? They actually use Google Analytics to track their backend. They have a custom point of sale backend. Essentially, like it's not like they have a Shopify. They have it custom built through Magento actually. And I wanted to show you the month over month growth as well as the year over year essentially that we have, right? So our first month together, I'm actually showing you all of January right here, which is like the first full month, not just the monthly period of the 20th to the 20th, as I'm showing you on the ads account. Showing you through Google Analytics right here, which they claim to be 94% accurate, apparently internally. It's slightly under reports out here. But the first full month that we had together, so January, we made $1 million in purchase revenue, which compared to the previous period is 28.9% up for the total business, right? So gives us the 20% month over month increase in revenue. If you compare that year over year, obviously we're not up 200%. That's a comparison against the previous period, just so you know. But year over year, so this was, as you can see right here, the same period. So January 3rd to February 1st, 2023. So a year ago, they did 948K in that time period. So you could see that they did essentially 52K more this year. So that again is just an equal and fair comparison. Typically Q1 is good for this brand, which is why I'm showing you that, right? Great month over month, but a lot of businesses I know sometimes look at this and they're like, well, month over month doesn't mean shit. What about year over year? Have you grown against last year? Yes, we have, right? We've grown less year over year than we have month over month, obviously, because of Q1 is very good for this brand, but nonetheless still had decent growth. So 52K more in rev for about 13K more in ad spend in that time period. Now after, so showing you some explanations. I've already kind of gone through those right here, but 23% increase in attributed revenue, 30% increase in ad spend, which amounts to about 8% increase in ROAS or decrease in CPA, however you want to look at it. How did we achieve that? Well, that we noted in the audit. One of the things, I don't know if you can see it, it's quite small, I know, but I say here that one of the things that we noticed was that 15% of their ad spend was going to underperforming ads. Here's the catch. These guys were like long gone past the over 1 point. They've been just slumped with work for weeks. The owner hadn't really updated the campaigns in months in terms of like really any structural changes to the campaigns. They had been coasting with a lot of the same ads and they had like hundreds and thousands of ads. Like I'm saying hundreds of thousands, high hundreds, low thousands of ads live on the ad account. And when we looked at that, it was like there's so much wasted ad spend. So much wasted ad spend. Meta was allocating a bunch of spend to a bunch of ads that quite frankly just weren't cutting it. So we're like, look, let's just cut these ads. This was one of the first things that we did. So we cut a lot of the ads. We cut a lot of the ad set. We combined some of the campaigns together. I think we cut 4 or 5 campaigns right off the bat. And that right there, we hope to be about like a 10 to 15% improvement, which is why we did it. Now, in some of their best performing campaigns, as well as them kind of going into New Year, they had a kind of a New Year, New Me sale. They also had a 6th-year anniversary sale and like a Valentine's Day promotion, all kind of back to back to back, right? So in all of these, we still kept some of their highest performing audiences, which actually were lookalikes, but side by side, we launched broad targeting to test it and show them. Because initially I came in, I showed them a typical broad targeting campaign structure, and they were quite scared. They're like, I don't know if broad's really going to work for our brand. I'm like, well, I think it is, but let's see. So we launched broad. Funnily enough, actually, broad got the lowest CPM of the entire ad account, which is normal, the highest CTR, and was the second best ROAS and second best performing ad sets that we had before the Klaviyo lookalikes, which that actually was something that we did. Again, this is where I'm saying it with a full disclaimer. This isn't our typical campaign structure, but under this advisement and kind of media buying position that we had initially to get these guys working with us, we had to play the game and essentially not just flip the entire ad account. Like they wanted to see stuff similar to what they were used to while us introducing new ideas to them, which was broad. We did it and they love to see broad targeting working really good for them, but they also had never integrated Klaviyo with Facebook. And what we did, we came in, we created some new Klaviyo based lookalike audiences. So 1 to 3% based on specific segments within Klaviyo that we made, such as some of the customers that bought the most often or clients that had the highest AOV and such. So we built these segments on Klaviyo, made lookalikes, and actually one of those ended up becoming the best performing audience on this entire account. Again, the thing and what I always kind of preach and what we've told them also in on recommendations. I think one was at like 2.97 ROAS. The other one was at like 3.1 or something, which those were both like acquisition only campaigns that we had running. I was kind of telling them, I'm like, look, you're getting like 5% better results with it, but you know, the audience size is much smaller and it's just more of a headache to kind of manage an audience like this where you could go broad and just focus on creatives. And that is what kind of we started moving the account to. We even tried Advantage Plus shopping campaigns, which proven to work very good also on this account, and introduced new concepts of our own, plus sent across several creative recommendations since we combined both their creative efforts with theirs. So some of our ad creatives that we made, this is a very product aware business. They're selling iframes, as you can see right here. I just put a little white box over the client's logo essentially, so to kind of hide it. But you can kind of see like the main desire we had, and this business's main USP is really they're competing on price. Like that's their main thing. They also told us at the start is they're positioned themselves as like one of the cheapest options for eyewear in all of North America. So that being like their main positioning out there, they were kind of really going for the masses. And one of their edges also is how cheap they can make progressive lenses. So they really compete on the pricing. So that's what we use mainly with the ads. So that's why it's very product aware audiences. We don't have to convince anybody to get progressive lenses nor to buy iframes. They know. We have to convince them why is this the best option and just kind of sell them on the brand at this point. So here, you know, some of our best ads that we made, right? See crystal clear from near to far, 20% off progressive lenses. So 3 statics as well as 1 video right here. So that was like a cute little gift that we had right here that just kind of showed how, you know, you'd see good with these glasses only, right? So everything was kind of blurred out except what was in focus within the iframes. And, you know, very, very similar. This one we kind of added, same as this, like with 3 prescriptions in one, see near, mid range and far. So just kind of how versatile and cheap these glasses are, which again is really the angle of this business. It's they're running a bunch of like offers all the time and they're just competing on price. Basically that's like their motto as a business. So now to show you this live, because again, just sometimes people are skeptical when I share some of these videos. Here's the live Facebook ad accounts. I'm going to hit refresh a couple of times for you to see right here. So you can see at the bottom, essentially 13%, again, more revenue in that first month together. If I open up the ROAS, 8%, higher ROAS. And finally, if I open up purchase conversion value, up 23%. And then if I head over to Google Analytics right here, which again, I'll refresh a second for you to best see. So let's just give it a sec. It's automatically going to go to last 7 days. But if I open this up and I go essentially, let's just see last 30 days roughly, there you go. You're going to see $1 million in purchase revenue, up 28% over the last period, 33% more sales that we had over there, 43% more traffic on the website. All in all, very, very successful first month with that business. And again, I'll call that a success if you want. So if you've made it this far and all the way through this video, I invite you to check the link down below and book on a call to speak with our team at paidadvertising.com if you want a paid ads partner for your e-commerce brand to scale you up on Meta, TikTok, and or Google, since we're batch partners across all 3 platforms. And if you want to learn more about some of our methodologies, perhaps even research processes, also check out the description down below and check out our free school community. On that note, I also invite you to check out other videos on the channel for some more useful e-commerce marketing tips, and I'll see you in next video. Peace.